This is my review of working at Swansea Gower College. Obviously, it's a very big institution. I think it has a turnover of £50 million. So that's testament to how successful it is in providing further education courses to the people of Swansea and its surrounding areas. And I worked there as a cleaner in 2024. I was actually contracted as a 0 hour casual cleaner, so I would typically cover periods where there was somebody sick or maybe they needed some extra cover. But the job was quite straightforward. I would basically go in and make sure that everything was looking clean and tidy, particularly toilets, corridors, and that bins would be empty, that any spillages would be clear, that any faults would be reported to the supervisor. But the job was, quite monotonous. It wasn't really something that you would enjoy. It's just a functional task that you would get paid to do. And I felt a bit of an outcast as well because I was the only guy there, besides the supervisor. And, he was a man, that had many years of experience, and he was kind of a happy-go-lucky sort of guy. He was quite chilled and laid back, but some of the female cleaners were also mostly very experienced, so I did feel a little bit out of place. And also I was expected to clean all the toilets, and this was during the day, so it was like when the college facility was at its busiest and footfall, particularly those for the toilets was at its highest. So I was assigned to both gender toilets. So I would also have to go to the female toilet, and the main toilet was always busy with girls, and obviously because they were minors, some of them, even though I was legally allowed to do it, you still felt a little bit uncomfortable because of some people might perceive that as not, as a bit not really secure for a man to go inside a female toilet. But like I said, most people seemed okay at the time. Nobody said anything, negative against me. Actually, there was like a receptionist in one of the other areas of the building that was like, "Oh, if you need to go to the female toilet, I can do it for you." It seemed like she had you know, an issue with me cleaning female toilets, but ultimately I'm somebody who is respectful of other people, and I would always look out for most people's best interests. I'm not, you know, I've never been like an opportunist taking advantage of, situations. So, I wasn't, I was, I was at peace with myself in that scenario. But like I said, the other staff members didn't seem particularly, happy being there. It seemed like a very demotivated environment, but that's probably because the job itself is not very aspirational. It's and ultimately, I was there for like a couple of weeks, and then it was half term, and the supervisor said, "Oh, I'm gonna call you next week to let you know about your shift after half term." And guess what? He never did. I was always waiting, but there was no response from him. So I was left to hang out to dry. And I remember him once telling me that the only way to, you know, the only way to stop being an employee there, sorry, is if I was dead. He said something along those lines anyway, because it means that obviously, the employment, once you're employed, is very secure, and nobody's gonna remove you from the job. But my experience tells me otherwise, because obviously I was on a 0 hour contract, so I was more vulnerable. That's why 0 hour contracts are not the best, because employers know that they have that power over you, that they can decide, do we want this guy? Do we want to give him more hours? And they can, in a way, sack you by just stop giving you hours. It's kind of like, an indirect way to say we don't really want or need you anymore when they stop giving you hours. So that's what happened to me. And but ultimately, the college is relatively good facilities. I worked in the Gorseinon Campus, and they had multiple canteens where you could buy sandwiches, hot food, drinks, and they also had vending machines scattered around the college. And they had, a nice playground area where they had some table tennis. Obviously, they had also a lot of high tech equipment. Some of them, were like top of the range Apple computers for students to work. And overall, the environment was quite chilled, relaxed, and conducive to positive learning. Most students, when I was there, were well behaved. The only issue that I had was the toilets, particularly the male toilets, they were vandalized, so people would drop floors, toilet paper, poo, on the they were, that guys at that age, they are more, driven by testosterone, and they just do silly things. But other than that, other than the job itself and some of the staff member, the work environment is quite relaxed, chilled back. So, if you're looking to apply for a role within a college, I would probably say go for it. I would recommend it. It seems like a stable, well kept, relaxed, and professional place. Potentially, you can get some good career opportunities from having a career there. But let me know if you've worked with the college, or if you're contemplating working for them, or even if you're studying or planning to study. How's your experience, or what are you looking for? I'm gonna keep an eye out on the comment section for any feedback or questions.